Prices for the commodities on the two big trading boards have been going up of late, but that has not equated to higher food prices at the grocery store. In fact, over the last 3 months, food prices have been dropping. Neil Melancon now joins us with this week's Bottom Line. And Neil, despite the fact that food prices have been falling over the last 3 months, they are still not as low as they were this time a year ago.
That's about right, Mike. There's good news and bad news here. First off is that the Consumer Price Index for most food items have dropped for 3 consecutive months, the first time it's done so since 1958. The bad news is they're coming down from 18-year highs we saw in the latter part of last year. Declines through the first quarter of 2009, even through April, were down 1.6%. though with May yet to be tabulated. But it will likely be lower as well for this past month. Still, due to the massive increases in 2008, food prices are still well above where they were this time last year by a whopping 3.3%, larger than the increases in 2005 and 2006 combined. Earlier in the program, we had Linda Greco on promoting June as Dairy Month, and the farmers could certainly use a boost. Dairy products such as milk and cheese have been driving this downward trend, with dairy products down 5% over this time last year overall. In the last 6 months, milk alone has lost 13.5% of its value. Good for consumers, but not our dairy farmers. The bottom line this week is enjoy it while it lasts. Prices are already turning around for many food items, particularly meats, and as the overall economy begins to recover, so will the outside markets that affect food prices, particularly oil. Fundamental factors in the grain markets have them surging in price as stocks dwindle away. In addition, overall consumer confidence has risen in both April and May, which will mean many people returning to stores, and prices will likely rise as a result.
Well, Neil, you talked about some price factors in the short term. What's the prognosis for the long term?
Well, it's interesting you should mention that, Mike. We saw in this month's National Geographic, there's an article called The End of Plenty that outlines how we've been slowly drawing down our stocks of food supplies worldwide. While that's good news for agriculture, price-wise, it's not really good for consumers or our world in the long term, Mike.
And I took a look at that National Geographic article. That is very, very interesting. And if you'd like to know more about that, you can log on to nationalgeographic.com and click on End of Plenty.
Right.
Thanks, Neil. Good job.